Hello, everybody. Hello, Paul. Hello, folks. Welcome to this the starting of a series here that I'm going to be doing, teaching you different elements of the multifamily investing business. And this is going to be a series of lessons like I've never done before. I'm going to give everybody just a little bit of time just to chime on in. Go ahead and tell me where you're all from. Paul, I know you're from Florida. I think it was Tampa, if I remember correctly. And I'll be drinking my Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. And yep, Riverview, Florida. I know my friend Gail shows up. She's gonna be very mad at me for having the zero sugar. But I'm almost done that 12 pack and I won't buy any more. I promise, Gail, I won't do that. Good to see you, Ed. Thanks for coming. All right. Let me just kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to be covering today. And more importantly, what we're going to be covering over the next couple of weeks in this particular process. Let me just grab the right thing here. I've been, this topic is how to find deals and get out in front of the competition. And I just have to tell you, folks, that I've been teaching this particular topic for close to the last 20 years. But what I'm going to teach you today, I have never taught before. Honest to God, this is all brand new stuff. It's going to start out looking like, if you've been watching any of my videos over the years, it's going to start out and you think you're watching the same stuff. It's going to take a turn and it's going to blow you away, because I'm going to introduce the most amazing tool I've ever seen in this business. And you all need this weapon in your arsenal. It will even help you raise money for your deals, but we're going to talk about that next week. Let me tell you first off about Multifamily OS. You've heard me talk about Multifamily Investing Academy. Multifamily OS is the system that I've created that is part of the Multifamily Investing Academy. Let me give you a little bit of a history lesson here. On my birthday is June 1st, and this system got its genesis on June 2nd of 1980. So I turned 16 on June 1st. Don't do the math. I am 72 years old. On June 2nd, I began working as an employee at McDonald's in South Nashua. It's still there. And little did I know the impact that job would have on all of my future businesses. Because on June 3rd, I became an expert in fries and shakes. I know what you're thinking. Wow, that's a massive accomplishment. But when you think about what happened and how it relates to what I'm going to be teaching you here today, it's going to make a lot of sense. You see, the lesson that I learned at that job was how you can build a billion-dollar business on the backs of 16-year-old kids. And that's what Ray Kroc taught me. And it was, if you take a business, any business, and you break it down to the most basic of systems, anyone can do it. And I've taken those lessons that I learned at McDonald's and applied them to every business I've been involved with over the last 40 years. Even my benefits administration business, I had 35 employees working for me. Each person had a job description, a role to play, and it was part of the overall system. But every person just had to focus on one thing, and that was how we were able to achieve our goals. I think we became about a $4 million company back in about 2000. So understanding my mindset, when I started investing in multifamily real estate about 20 years ago, I noticed that every acquisition was nothing more than a series of systems that could be replicated. It was a process that could be replicated, just like the fries and shakes that I mastered on June 3rd of 1980. It was at that time that I started to set up my business to build upon systems. And over the last 20 years, I'd like to think that I've become a student of these business systems. I've had many thought leaders that I followed who have helped me with this process. One of the first one was Michael Gerber, who wrote the book E-Myth Revisited. He was probably the first book I read about how to set up systems in a business. And what amazed me about that book was I thought I was reading about McDonald's, because that's pretty much all he did is he copied the Ray Kroc method and slapped a new name on it. And that book became like the foundation of how to build systems in my businesses. Then I became a protege of Dan Sullivan and strategic coach. And many of you may have heard of Dan. For those of you not familiar with Dan, he calls himself the premier business coach for visionary entrepreneurs. And it was here that I started to see the basic building blocks of the multifamily OS system, which, and all that makes a lot of sense, seeing that Gino Wickman, who is the founder of EOS Worldwide, Entrepreneurial Operating System, he came out of the Dan Sullivan training as well. So as you can see, I was being cultivated and trained by these great minds on how to build systems, and I created the multifamily OS system as a result of that. So I've tried so many different processes to get to where I am today. For instance, based upon E-Myth Revisited, I created a step-by-step process for reaching out to investors, for working with brokers, for writing offers on a scheduled basis. And these systems helped me to achieve a level of success early on, like in my book, How to Own 1,000 Apartments in 5 Years. This process was how I got to 1,000 apartments. And when I started coaching and consulting to the multifamily business owners like yourselves, my strategy was to help them do the exact same thing and build their business using similar systems. And that's when I created the Multifamily OS program. And it started, for many of you, you might remember this, it started with an 86-page how-to manual showing all the standard operating procedures you would need to take to get you from soup to nuts in this business. Then I incorporated a team of virtual assistants to help my clients process those operating systems while they were out running their life and outside of multifamily investing. And I'll be honest with you, that was still a very labor-intensive process, and that was never the intent. You would have had a trained VA working full-time for you, and the results were inconsistent. And then, folks, this is why we're here today. Along came AI, and that changed everything. Now we have developed the most amazing tool that everyone on this call needs to have and needs to work every day. And over the next several weeks, I'm going to be teaching you about the different new aspects of the multifamily business that AI is solving your problem for. And I'm going to show you how that works. Now, but today, what we're going to be focusing on is, hold on here. I've got to, Molly's going to help me. I just see Molly. I got to go to the share screen. There it is. Boom, boom. Yeah. All right. Okay, so let me just hit this slideshow here. All right. Now, I'm going to ask Molly if she can just either step in or send me a text message and make sure that I'm on the right slide here. See if she said, and I'm opening up my Dr. Pepper. I've always, yeah, here's Molly. Let me see, good to go. Good, thank you. And Molly, if you need anything, just go ahead and text me. I've got it right here with me. Okay, now remember, 5 things you must do when building your multifamily buy box. All right, and the 5th one is going to shock you. And I'm going to get to 4, and you think I will have forgotten 5. I'm going to show you what number 5 is and why it is the way it is. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to talk about the 5 elements of building your buy box. I'm going to show you the best tool that multifamily investors use to be able to find that buy box. We're going to have a question and answer. I'm going to be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Obviously, it's easier if you wait till the end. But what I would prefer you to do is go ahead and type it in the chat box. Get a dialogue going. Everybody talking to each other. I love that. All my students, I love it when they all talk to each other. But go ahead and put your questions in the chat box. I'll go through it at the end, make sure that I answered everybody's questions. And I'm going to give you a special offer for attending at the end of this call. Molly's put that together for us. All right. So, but before we get started, what I really want to focus on here, hold on, is what is a buy box? And I'm going to do that by introducing you to a student of mine named Frank. Now, Frank was with me for about a year. He was a financial analyst. He was working for a fund, and he realized, handwriting's on the wall. He's got to get out of it. He's got to go find something new. He decided he wanted to get into multifamily investing. All right. He comes out to meet me in Boston. He says, I'm not going to sign up for your program if I haven't broken bread with you. So he came all the way out here to meet me in Boston, and we had lunch together. We had a great time, and he signed up for my program. And he started going through my program, and he was making offers, jumping all over the place, looking at deals, watching all my videos. And after about a year, maybe a little bit more, he had nothing to show for it. And I said, Frank, you're what is it that you're not doing here? What's going wrong here? I don't know. And then I went back and looked at his offers, and I looked at the deals he was looking at. I said, Frank, one day you're in Indianapolis. The next day, you got me looking at a property in Tallahassee. The next day, I'm looking at something in South Carolina. You are all over the place. Where do you want to build your business? He goes, I don't know. I'm kind of. I said, why are you looking at deals all over the place? Because that's what the brokers are sending me. I said, so let me get this straight. Your business is going to be determined by some guy who's got a deal that he sends to you. Your entire business model is going to be based upon some broker that you've never even met before, sending you deals because you're on his mailing list, and he sends it out to 100 other people. And that's how you have determined your buy box. He goes, well, yeah, that's kind of how it works. I said, Frank, we got to take a step back. Where do you want to be? Where do you think the best market is? And we worked on it, and we found one particular market for Frank, and he focused on that market. Now he owns 8 complexes in that market. He identified the buy box, and he focused on that one particular market. Now we're going to go through how to find your buy box, how to find deals within your buy box, and I'm going to show you a tool where you can be analyzing 5 buy boxes at the same time. And back 10 years ago, I would not have recommended that. Now with the power of AI, it's easy. You're going to be able to go through 5 different buy boxes, and every week you're going to be knowing what's going on in that particular market. And I'm going to show you how that works. So the buy box is where you are looking to build your multifamily real estate business. And part of it is from the heart, but a lot of it is from the head. And so let's take a look at some of the things that you're going to need to do. And some of this is analytical, based upon numbers. Oh, there's Frank. There's my buddy Frank. Sorry, Molly. Click to show his pic. At my message from Molly, she said, click to show his pic. All right. Let me show you some of the questions you have to ask yourself when choosing a location. All right. So go through this in your head. And, when I first started, I was living in south of Boston. I didn't think it was a great multifamily market. I think everything was overpriced. I wouldn't be able to get into the market. So at that point, I started looking at things outside of my current market. Now, folks, you don't have to do that. You can start small. You can buy a 2-family. You can buy a 4-family in the most expensive market where you are. Because look at the most successful real estate investors in your neighborhood, in your community. They're doing it right here in their own backyard. And you can do the same. So you don't have to go far afield. Ask yourself that question. Do I want to be in my own backyard or do I not mind traveling? Ask yourself the question, where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you want to be in your backyard? Are you planning on retiring? You want to move your business down towards the south because that's where you envision yourself? Always think in 5 year increments. Actually, Dan Sullivan tells you to think in 3 year increments. But in here I said, where do you want to be in 5 years? Because in 5 years, that's really, that's what I did. How to own 1,000 apartments in 5 years. So ask yourself, where do I want to be owning those 1,000 units? And then understand the difference between a primary, secondary, or a tertiary market and the benefits. Primary markets, very expensive. You're paying, I've seen some prices over $300,000 per unit in those primary markets. Foreign money loves those markets. They won't even think about going into a secondary or tertiary market. They love primary markets. And the tertiary markets, the problem with the tertiary markets is it's tough to get investment dollars in there. And then the corollary is true too. It's tough to get the investment dollars out of there. So that's one of the issues when you're looking at those outside the market. But there's one final thing we're going to show you. I'm going to show you another one of my students. The other thing are time zones. If you're looking around the country, you've got to really take into consideration. Had was a 2-hour time zone. I could take I take a 5:30 flight out of Boston and land in Dallas and be in my lawyer's office at 10 a.m. In Dallas any workday, and that's pretty good, and that's not bad. So, but of a 3-hour time zone, I went to Ireland. I went to Ireland and stayed there for 3 weeks, and tried to do the virtual thing where I was working there and then going out sightseeing. And what ended up happening, I found out, was I was working twice as hard because I would wake up in the morning, my time, clean out all my emails, get everything going, then go out and do all the sightseeing stuff in Ireland, and then come back to the hotel or the house that we rented, and then open up my email, and I have a whole other day's worth of email that I have to go through because while I was out sightseeing, my world was working back in Boston. So take those time zones into consideration when you're looking at deals. These are some of the things people just don't even think about. Also, the airports. If you're traveling, if you're going to be going across the country, you got to think about what airports you're going to be flying into. Is it easy to get to? Is it cost effective? I had a property in Lexington, Kentucky, and I got to tell you, we had to fly into Cincinnati. Then I could either drive to Lexington or I could take a puddle jumper over to Lexington. But Cincinnati at the time, I don't know if it's still the way here, Delta Airlines owned 95% of the terminals. And when they did that, they could charge anything they wanted. So my flight to Cincinnati was so much more expensive than any flight to my Detroit property or to my Texas property. And that's something to take into consideration when you're buying your property. Is the airport easy to get to or not? Now, this goes back, this next comment, cash in the crops, goes back to the tertiary market comment. Meet my student, Brendan Chisholm. Great guy. I met him in Connecticut. He came to a RIA club and then he signed up with my program. And now he owns about 4 complexes. And one of the properties that he owns, he ended up getting, somebody brought it to him at a RIA club and he put the deal together and the numbers were phenomenal, just great numbers. And it was in a tertiary market in Alabama or Arkansas, one of those places. And it's really, the numbers made a ton of sense. And what he said was, "Hey, Charlie, there's cash in the crops," meaning don't poo-poo those tertiary markets. There are some properties out there that you can really make have a great day with. Now, I'm going to show you how when you're out there driving around and you're looking at these properties, I'm going to show you how you can interact with the owner while you're sitting in the parking lot of that property. That's how cool these tools are that I'm going to show you today. All right, now let's go on. Okay, the next thing you want to do when you're out there looking at property is become the expert in that buy box market. I'm going to give you some tips on things you need to do. You should be doing this in every market you're looking at. All right, determine the path of progress. Most people don't realize that every city and town has to have a strategic plan. See, what happened was the federal government said, if you want our money, you've got to show us that your cities and towns have plans for what you plan on doing with this money. So the state legislatures all across the country all then said every city and town by law has to have a 10-year strategic plan put together. And they all do it. You know, the planning department, that's their job, is to come up with this strategic plan. And that's all so that they can get federal money. So you as an investor in those communities, you need to get your hands on those strategic plans. Google it. If you're looking at, Greenville, South Carolina, Google Greenville, South Carolina's strategic plan and pull it up. I'm going to show you some in just a moment, but it's going to blow you away. So if you're in a particular marketplace, get the strategic plan. That's going to really tell you where the money is going to be going over the next 10 years and where the path of progress is going. All right. Another thing you want to do is when you are in a particular market and maybe you're going to go out there and look at a property. Maybe you're going to make an offer on a particular property. Create a multifamily shopping list. Okay. Now I'm going to have you ask me about this later. I'm going to tell you, but the tool that we are giving you is, if you identify a property and you like that property, you can just push a button and it's going to give you 10 other properties in that area that you should also be taking a look at. And that talk about swarming the market. And that's what I want you to do, is you're going to become an expert in that market. So if you're looking at one particular property, hit the shopping list button and it's going to give you some other properties. They're not on the market. And right now, we don't care about properties being on the market. To that town virtually. You don't have to be there, but you're going to become a townie. Go and subscribe to all the online newspapers. I'm telling you, I live here in Nashua, New Hampshire. I don't read Nashua Telegraph. My brother in Kansas City does. He sends me messages. Hey, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen that? It's unbelievable what he will show me that I don't even know. But because he's subscribed to the online newspaper, go on Craigslist and look at property on Craigslist. There's a huge mill building here in Nashua a friend of mine bought, and now he's turning it into apartments. For his friend, he was a former client. You're never a former client. You're always a client of mine. But he went out and bought a property on Craigslist a mill building that he's converting to multifamily. And I said, hey, Mike, how'd you find that? I mean, I drove by that building a million times. How'd you find it? He goes, on Craigslist. Folks, go and watch the zoning meetings. Go and watch the planning board meetings. Find out they all have a hyperlink. I'm on the assessor's office. I'm on the board of assessors in the city of Nashua. And I'm kind of a funny guy. I'm the chairman of the board, and we have a little fun. We're poking things, and somebody comes up to me and goes, hey, Charlie, that was a really funny meeting the other day in the assessor's office. And I said, you weren't there? He goes, oh, yeah, I watched it on TV. And that's when I realized, holy cow, all of those things are televised. So go watch the zoning meetings. Go watch the planning board meetings. Go check it out. And also another thing is find out when housing court is. I've been to housing court many times in my life as a lawyer, but also as a multifamily owner. Go check out the housing court. Find out when it is, and when you're in that town, go sit in the back row. Online classifieds typically through the newspapers. Make sure you sign up for those local Facebook groups, and definitely tie yourself in to the local RIA clubs. People forget to do that. Go and do it. You want to become an informed insider. Okay. Now take a look at this. I'm going to choose to look at Nashville in our conversation here today. And we could choose any community, but I'm going to focus on Nashville. So take a look at this. Nashville has 14 separate areas that all have their own strategic plan. All of these neighborhoods, they all have their own strategic plan. If I jump on over here, check out this. You can get the general plan for Nashville and Davidson County. Go ahead and download it. This is what you need to be doing with every community that you're looking at, every buy box. Find out what's going on in that community. All right. Let's see. All right. Now, after we've identified the market and why you're going there and what you like about it and where the path of progress is and you're dialed in, the next thing that you really have to focus on is figuring out what type of property that you are looking to invest in that community. And folks, if you don't have this figured out, you're just throwing spitballs against the wall. When you zone in, just like my client Frank, when you zone in on a typical property that you and your investors are looking to invest in, that is going to cut it down the middle, and you will be able to find those deals and focus on those opportunities a lot faster. The problem is step 5, and I'll talk about that more in just a moment. You want to ask yourself, am I just looking for performing assets? I tell you, when we have our morning call, I got guys on the call who are contractors who own their own tool belts, and I have people that have never done it before in their life. I don't think they should be looking for the same type of property. I think they should look at what their assets are, and focus on the properties that work for them best. Some like value add opportunities. Other people like financially distressed when they can get in there and come up with a creative solution for the bank or for the seller. You want to look at motivated sellers. I mean, if you're just wasting your time looking at people who are just kicking the tires, you don't have enough time in your life to waste with non-motivated sellers. You want to be able to find those motivated sellers, people with private lenders. I mean, those notes come due pretty fast, and you want to help those people out. Maybe they have to sell. You also want to focus on the unit count. How big? Do I want 4 units? Do I want 40 units? Do I want 400 units? And how old does it have to be? This really makes a big difference in the financing. All of those things you need to take into consideration. And once you've identified it, and once you said, this is what I'm looking for, then you've got to ask yourself the question, how do I find these types of opportunities? And always ask yourself, and keep this in the back of your mind. I've been teaching this one thing for years. Owning multifamily will change your life. And it's your job is to understand how owning that particular property that you're looking at is going to change yours. If you're going after a performing asset, that's going to be an easy one to own and operate. If you're going after a total gut rehab value add opportunity, that thing is going to take up a lot of your time, and you better be able to give it your time, and you better be able to make sure that you know what you're doing and that you've got the right people on your team in order to make it happen. Those are the things. Owning multifamily will change your life. Always consider that when you're making an offer on a property. All right, now I'm going to show you some of the tools that we use and that you have used for years. Now, some of you are going to think, well, Charlie, Saturday morning and you're teaching me this? I've seen this all before. Well, I'm going to show you the things that I've been teaching for the last 20 years and why they no longer work and how to solve that problem. All right, let me just see if, let me see. Okay, so here, let me show you. I'm going to jump on over. I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to come back over to here. And I'm going to start the share again. All right. Now, all right. We all know LoopNet. Everybody knows LoopNet. I tell you, when I was first getting started in this business, I would go to those 3,000 person boot camps. And, when they said, oh, and then you get an account on LoopNet, I could almost guarantee you that the people at LoopNet knew when those boot camps were happening because they would get a spike in new memberships that weekend. Boom, 3,000 new people. Wow, how do we do that? Because this guy was showing everybody that this is the one place, the world's #1 commercial real estate marketplace. Okay, folks, that just tells you that everybody comes here. And that's my issue is if everybody comes here, what makes you stand out? And the answer is not much. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter. Let's take a look at it and just think about it. I'm going to put in here for sale, choose multifamily. I'll move it over so you can all see it. Chose multifamily, and I'm going to put in Nashville. All right. Nashville, Tennessee. Click. Boom. Look what happens. When I pull up Nashville and I'm a new investor, I look at it like, oh, this is great. Look at all these properties over here, all different types. 7 cap, 30 unit. Oh, that's a nice size. I like that one. Oh, look at 14 unit. Great. There are 26 properties listed on LoopNet in the city of Nashville, Tennessee. 26 properties. How the heck am I going to find that great deal that's going to make a ton of dough for me, make a ton of sense for my investors, if I only have 26 properties to look at and the rest of the country is also looking at those same 26? How do you build a business on that? You can't. Let's take another look. Let's jump on over here. And Molly, I'm going to ask you to confirm that this can be seen here. Can you see? Let's see. Molly said, "Oh, my internet cut out. I'm still here, aren't I? Hold on. Let me jump on over and take a look at. There we go. Come up here. Investment more. Own what you do. Here is Buck, Lauren, Charles. Information outstanding. Okay, great. Thanks, Win. All right, so let me jump on back over here. I'm going to put myself on this one. There we go. All right, so I'm still on correct. So let me jump on over. And I'm going to stop the show. Now let me do the same exact thing with do the same exact thing. Share screen. All right, now I'm gonna show you. Here I go on Crexy. So we started with LoopNet. Then all of a sudden Crexy comes along and oh, they're the best thing since sliced bread. You can't get any better than this, folks. I'm telling you right now, Crexy was cool. They had kind of like more of the system in place, where LoopNet, you had to go out there and interact with a broker and get the stuff, and he had to forward it over to you. With Crexy, everything is all in one site. And so you have to use their letters of intent and you have to go in their system. So it's a lot more focused, but still, nevertheless, let's take a look and see what the difference is with Nashville on Crexy. Now remember, we had 27 with the we had 26 with the other search function, and now we've got 23, and some of them are duplicates. So we have fewer. Let's say fewer than 40 properties I'm going to scroll out. Fewer than 40. I'm not adding together because some have duplicates, but I'll say we have fewer than 40 properties in the city of Nashville, Tennessee, that we can go after using LoopNet and Crexi. Folks, I always liken this to the that old John Houseman from Paper Chase. For those of you that remember those days, when he tells the lawyer in the back rooms, "Mr. So-and-so, come down to the front of the room." The guy gets up and he walks to the front of the room, and John Houseman, the big old professor, hands him a dime and says, "Here is a dime. Go call your mother and tell her it is highly unlikely you will ever be a lawyer." And folks, I feel the same way when I look to see that there are 40 properties for sale between LoopNet and Crexi, and you've got to compete against everybody else, and you've got to find that one deal. And if you understood how these brokers operate, you would realize that you're never going to get anywhere with these tools. You just aren't. Think about this. A broker gets a lead, and he wants to own that lead. That's his. He wants to get both sides of the sales commission, and they usually do. All right. That's just the way it is in commercial. It's not like residential. So the first thing he's going to do is, if it's a good deal, he's going to go to the people that he sold property to before in the past that he knows can close. And so therefore, he goes and he signs up, he sends those properties over to them, and he hopes that he can close quickly with those people. Folks, I'm telling you, I've been on both sides. I've been on the buying side and the selling side, and this is exactly how it works. If none of his stable likes it, he goes to all the other people in his office. "Hey, I got this lead. Anybody else want it? Let's keep it in-house." If nobody else wants it, it ends up on LoopNet and Crexi. And then it becomes a feeding frenzy. I talked to one broker. He said in one weekend, when I put a property on, he said I had 1,700 requests for additional information on that property. 1,700. Folks, that's your competition. For 26, 40 plus properties, that's your competition. And so I'm about to give you a dime to tell you that if that's the way you continue to run your business, it is highly unlikely that you will ever have any success in this business. And now, folks, this is where number 5 and the new tool comes into play. Number 5 is when you've figured out your buy box, when you've figured out your market, when you've figured out the type of property that you want, you have to determine if in that market, are there enough properties that fit your criteria that you should be looking at. And I can guarantee you, folks, we just looked at 40 plus units on LoopNet and Crexi, and we haven't even looked at the type of property it is. We're just hoping that it meets our investors' criteria and it hits the numbers that we need it to. Because if it doesn't, we kick that one out. We're now down to 39 properties that we can possibly make an offer on. But that's the whole point is when you're looking at a particular market, you've got to make sure that there's plenty of properties out there to go after. All right, now let me show you how this all works. You know what's the problem is here? I actually happen to have two mouses here in my office, and I always grab the wrong one. So I'm like, oh no, my mouse doesn't work. All right, so here, watch what happens. And this is the Multifamily OS program, folks. And I want everybody that's on the call right now, you can go and you can sign up right now for multifamilyos.ai. And this is going to show you how this works. Now, I'm already logged in. In today's lesson, all I'm going to teach you is how Multifamily OS can help you find those particular deals like we just talked about. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about how it raises money for you. One of these weeks, I'm going to teach you about the legal documents that it produces on your behalf. This is the entire operating system you need for multifamily investing. Folks, it's a tool that every multifamily investor should be using. All right, let me show you. I'm going to come over here to Discover. All right, now, when you click on Discover, and let me just check to make sure that everybody is seeing me. I would think that's very important. Good. Yeah, everybody can see this. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is come up here to the Discover button. Now, this is really kind of in a whole flow as to how to find deals. You're going to start out with Discover. Now, we can do the property search, or we can go straight to creating your buy box. I'm going to do both. I want to. So let's go to property search. And what do you say we stick in Nashville? There it is, Nashville, Tennessee. And we do a search on Nashville. How do we do? Look at this, folks. Almost 7,200 properties in Nashville are listed as multifamily properties. Now you can see some of them. We're looking at some here, 2 units, whatever. This Multifamily OS tool has every multifamily property in the country in the system. So I don't care where you are. I don't care secondary, tertiary, primary. If you put in that area, that multifamily property is going to pop up. If it's ranked as a multifamily, is coded as multifamily by that city or town, it is going to be in your search. So here we have, in all of Nashville, we have 7,200 properties. Now, that tells us that right away, Nashville is a good market to go looking for property. 7,200 is more than enough. And now the problem with this is that 7,200 is too much. I've got to whittle it down. I need to narrow it down. All right, so what we can do, all right, so I'm going to come back to this in just a moment. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you our buy box ability. And this is really cool. This is what creates the system, all right? So what happens is when you sign up for the Multifamily OS, you get, and you're doing it for the first time, you're going to be asked questions on setting up your buy box. And the way it works is buy box learns your investment preferences and automatically finds properties that match your criteria. Set up your first market to start receiving curated recommendations every Friday. Folks, when you turn on Multifamily OS tool, every Friday, you're going to get a notice that we have put 15 new properties from Nashville into your buy box. And we want you to go through those 15 and tell us, I like this one, I don't like this one. I like this one, I don't like that one. And kick them out or favorite them. And the reason why we want you to do that is because this is called machine learning. We are now learning what properties you like. And so the next week, when we send you 15 more properties, they're going to be more like what you like. And that way we can go from 7,200 opportunities down to 300 that meet your buy box criteria. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that think about that. You now have people working for you when you're not even working, and it's automatic. You don't have to go speak to a VA to have them go find 15. AI, Multifamily OS AI can go out there and find those properties for you. So let's set up our first market, and we're going to set it up as Nashville. We're going to call it Nashville. Okay, down here, this is where we put in the actual city or town. That's how it knows it. Now, what we do here is we put in parameters that we're just going to say, we're going to start with these parameters. And then as we go through the system every day, every week, we're going to hone in on what you like. We're going to send you properties built in 1990. You rejected them all. Well, guess what? Next week, we're not going to send you properties that were built in 1990. We're going to get closer to what it is that you're looking for. Or at this particular stage, you can just go ahead and say, nah, I want this one, I want to change this. But by all we're doing here is we are really setting it up so that we find the right property for you. And when you get to this, you hit the update criteria. This is a good sign, okay? Because what happens is, based upon these parameters, we are in the green zone. You want the bouncing blue ball to be in the green zone of your market. Based upon these criteria, we're now down to 597 properties that meet your criteria. We went from 7,200 down to 597. Pretty cool, right? And as we go through this buy box, we're going to make sure that blue ball fits in there. So this tells me a very good thing. It tells me that the properties that we're going to be sending you every week are going to be fitting right within your sweet spot. So those are going to be good properties for you to take a look at. As it says down here, excellent pool for diverse, high quality recommendations. Now we hit done. All right, and there is our buy box recommendation. You can put 4 more markets in there, and it will monitor those buy box criteria for you. You can come in, you can edit the criteria anytime you want, and that is the first thing you're going to do when you come into the Multifamily OS and set it up. Let us start looking at your buy box. You don't even have to do anything. Now, let's go back to the property search, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to put Nashville back in here, okay? And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit the search criteria. Like we said, 7,200 properties. Too many. But what is it that I want to see in these searches? Remember, we talked about motivated sellers. Well, what would constitute a motivated seller? Geez, I don't know. We could go through, would it be something under the number of units? Would it be something under about the owner information, physical characteristics, sales history? You can sort on any of these variables that we get from all of our sources all over the country. You can create your own search, or you can do what we call smart searches. And if we do smart searches, look at this. We can create a search for just motivated sellers. We can create a search for value add deals. We can create a search for high cash flow properties, fix and flips, new construction, luxury. Let's say that we had 27 opportunities, or let's say 40 plus opportunities through LoopNet and Crexy. Right now in our buy box, based upon our criteria, I've got almost 600 opportunities. And some of you might be thinking to yourself, well, Charlie, they're not for sale. The other ones are for sale, folks. These are investment properties. Everything is for sale. And it's your job is to get out there and find the motivated sellers before anybody else does. Because remember, if they find a motivated seller, those brokers find a motivated seller, they're not going to give it to you. They're going to give it to the guy that closed on a deal with them last week. Okay? Just always keep that in mind. All right. Now, let's come over here down to motivated sellers. If I click on motivated sellers, and you might be asking yourself, well, Charlie, what's a motivated seller? All right, it'll tell you right here. It's out-of-state owners who have owned more than 10 plus years. Okay, all right. Well, what do we have? We have 2,300 of those. Too much. Let's go into the financial information. I only want to deal with those that have $1 million assessed value. And I come back up here, I hit search. Now I'm down to 28 properties. Okay, 28 motivated sellers. Now, folks, I can change any of these parameters. I can go back up to the 2,300. But what I want to do here in this call is I want you to see what you do next. Now, remember, LoopNet, Crexy, you're done. Even if you click on every one of those brokers' leads, after you send a message to the broker, your work is done. You can go back to watching the college football. All right? That's not going to happen with us. We're now going to start working with these owners, and I'm going to show you how to do it. What we do here is I'm going to scroll on down, take a look at some of these properties. Here's another page. Here's another page, just kind of flipping around. Okay, that's the last page. I'm going to favorite all of these properties just by clicking this button. Now remember, I'm up here in Discover. I'm just fooling around. I'm in Discover, but I've now whittled it down to 28 properties that I want to start focusing on. So let's hit favorite. All right. And we just sit and wait. I take another sip of my Dr. Pepper. Oh, that's good. Now look what happened. We've got a heart on every one of these properties. Now what I can do is and they're all in this absentee, they're all absentee owners. I'm going to click over here to engage. And look what happens. All the properties pop on over here. Some of them are dupes, but they're not going to show up. But now I have them all favorited. I can click on any one of them. I'm all active. I'm reviewing them all. I haven't analyzed them. And I can take each one of these and move through the ranks. I'm going to put one in here. I think Molly and I were fooling around with this one. Yeah. So let's take this one right here. Let's click on engage. I'm going to scroll on down. I'm going to view the details here. And I'm going to show you, remember, these are things that the AI tool does for you to help you find deals that you could never have done 20 years ago. This never would even happened. Watch what happens. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the OS tool to analyze it. It's going to do an analysis on this property based upon AI, as opposed to reading a broker offering memorandum that was written by a broker to tell you how great that property is. This will actually tell you much about the financial strength of the property, what the cap rates are typically running at, property features, risk features, gives you a little market overview on Nashville, tells you more about the deal, and it tells you what's the verdict. Reasoning: the property's age and assessed value suggest potential for appreciation, but thorough due diligence is necessary to ensure it aligns it with investment goals and markets. Let's consider this one. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's find out who the owner is. All right, I'm going to click skip trace, and there it is. We've got the guy's phone number, and we've got the guy's phone number, and we've got the guy's email address. Oh my gosh, isn't that so cool? What could we possibly do with that, folks? Oh, I don't know. Maybe if we're sitting in the parking lot, you pull up your app from Multifamily OS, and you could call him, or watch this. Watch what I do here. I'm going to jump on over, and I'm going to decide to send this guy an email. And let me just see if you're seeing this. No, let me stop. That pops it in. Now remember, the guys, how would you like this? I jump back over here, stop the share, start the share. It's got to be an easier way. Folks, I just sent this guy a message. All I had to do is click one button, and there's his email address. There's the inquiry about your property. There's the address right there. It says, "Dear property owner, I hope this note finds you well. I'm reaching out to express sincere interest in your property located at 3258 Brick Church Parkway, Nashville. I focus on acquiring multifamily properties in Tennessee, and this building stood out due to its location, character, and the strength of the local rental market. Whether or not you've ever considered selling, I understand that owning and managing multifamily assets can be demanding, especially in today's environment. Rising operating costs, shifting tenant expectations, and market volatility have prompted many property owners to explore their options. I'm not a broker, and this isn't a listing solicitation. I'm a direct buyer looking to engage in a straightforward, respectful conversation about a potential off-market purchase. My goal is to understand your situation and see if there's a way to align my interest with your goal or on your timeline. In past acquisitions, We've structured deals with flexible terms, including delayed closings, continued property management, partial seller financing, and even 1031 exchange participation for owners looking to defer capital gains taxes. Depending upon your goals, there may be a creative option available that help maximize value while minimizing tax exposure. If you'd simply like to know what your property might be worth in today's market, I'd be happy to offer an informal valuation. No pressure, no obligation. You can reach me directly, and there's my contact information. Even if now isn't the right time, I'd welcome an opportunity to stay in touch. How cool is that? How'd you do that on LoopNet and Crexy? How successful were you doing that on LoopNet and Crexy? Not at all. Let me tell you, folks, every Friday I have dinner at my place with friends of mine who are real estate investors. And I showed them this tool. And the guy said, check out my property. And I punched in his address and his property popped up. And I hit skip trace. And this is all while we're sitting at dinner. And I've got his information from my phone. I send him that email. While he's sitting there having dinner, his phone vibrates. And I said, check out the email I just sent you. And he goes, you've got to be kidding me. That's what this is all about. Think about it, folks. Yeah. Okay. Nashville's got 7,200 properties. Can you do this for all 7,200? Yeah, you can. You absolutely can. I don't recommend it. Remember what I taught Frank. You got to stay focused. You got to pick your market. You stay in your buy box, stay within your space. But you can. And remember, this is just a numbers game. This business is a numbers game. And the more numbers you do, the more likely there will be success in your future. And that's why we created this system. Folks, what I told you before, 20 years I've been doing this. I've never seen anything like this. All right, let me see. I want to make sure because I know we're coming. I like to keep it around an hour. Let me see here. Let me jump back on over to, there it is. Okay, we did the engage. We got that. Okay, I'm not going to do any of the legal documents. I'm not going to show you that. I'm going to talk about how to raise private money through this tool next week because we will have it up and ready to go next week. But folks, if this you've sat through this conversation with me by up to this point, I want you to all sign on up today. Now, the way it works here is you sign up, you don't get charged, you don't input your credit card in, you get 7 days, you can kick the tires, see if it works for you. It's going to work for you. And then we have a paid version and a free version. Sending the email to the owner, that's on the paid version. I'm going to show you basically how it works. So we have the core, which is the free version. You go ahead, you have unlimited property searches. Originally, when we first started, you could look at 100 properties, and then if you wanted to see anything more, you'd have to buy a packet for more. We've taken that feature away. Now, even the free version, you can get unlimited property searches. You'll get access to the community dashboard where you can get to see everything else that's going on in the multifamily OS system. And you also get the AI-powered investment advisor, which is, I didn't even talk about that today, which is fine. We're going to go through this every week. MFOS Plus version, which on an annual basis works out to be about $75 a month. If you click the monthly button here, it's actually $90 per month is what the price that version is. That also gives you more. It gives you access to the letters of intent and the purchase and sale agreement. It gives you access to the underwriting manager and the investor relations specialist. It kind of gives you everything. And then you've got this is the version where you end up getting everything. $297 a month. That's going to include membership into the Multifamily OS Capital Club. We'll talk about that next week. The weekly coaching calls with me on Monday nights. We're going to go work together towards analyzing these deals. All of my masterclass training, and once again, community access, and then the Multifamily OS cohort program, which is where we actually meet every day. And this is where sign on up. Go ahead, apply now. I'll have Emma, my girl Friday there, give you a call and discuss it with you. And this is really where you work with me, and I help you through the whole entire every aspect of doing the deal. You have me right there on your speed dial. If you want to understand exactly what it entails, this is really where you want to take a look at all the different bullet points, all the things it can do. Before I go to this, I really want you to see this. This Multifamily OS is a system that incorporates every aspect of this business. You know how I said when I had my benefits administration, I had 35 people working for me. I had different departments that everybody would work in. And throughout those departments, people had to do their jobs. When I switched over to multifamily investing, there were certain departments, just like any other business. And what the Multifamily OS system does, it's taken those departments and automated them for you. Like acquisitions director. Just think about it. Look what we just did. If you're sitting there, how many? I got something I want to share with you. Let me jump on back over here to the Engage. Let's go back to that brick property right here. Look at what happens. I sent the owner an email, and the system created notes. On 10/11, I'm going to get a reminder when I come to turn on my system on the dashboard. I'm going to get a notice right here under today that a week ago I sent an email to that owner, and I should follow up with him. And if you go back over here, you'll see that brick kiln, there was actually two notices, because a week later, you're going to get another reminder. So you're constantly, you got tickler files going in. You can say anything you want. I love this property. And you just can type in any notes you need, anything you want to see on this particular property. And let me see the notes. Okay, show up on the report. So that gives you an idea. Let me jump on back over here to the home version. But you're going to have the acquisitions director is like the system will be finding deals for you automatically. You'll be getting notifications in 5 different markets of properties that meet your criteria and sent right to your inbox. And you just tell us whether you like them or not. And once you see it, and if you like it, go ahead and send the owner an email. Go ahead and pick up the phone and call the guy. That never happens on LoopNet or Crexi. It also does, the marketing assistant. We can send out marketing letters, very similar to the email I just read you. Or if you want, skip the printing and skip the postage and send the guy an email. It automatically does the skip tracing. Only on the $297 a month version, the MFOS Pro, can you do the skip tracing. The other versions do not have skip tracing ability. What else can you do? I didn't even get into the underwriting, but you know how I said in that email that you can do this on the fly. If the owner wanted a evaluation, we have a tool built in. I'm going to go over that in the next couple of weeks to show you exactly how you can analyze a deal right here from all the information that's in this system. You don't need an offering memorandum. You don't need a trailing 12. You can figure it out right here by using the tools that this system gives you. Also, it's like having a legal department. Folks, there are 5 LOIs built into the system. You just press a button. Let me just see if I can show you this. We take this particular property. We'll take a look at this property. No image. I come over here. I click on letter of intent. I can choose any one of these letters of intent. All the information is filled in right here. I hit generate document, and voila, I've just sent off a letter of intent on that particular property like that. 20 years ago, I would have to sit there and craft it, in Word documents and type in my information, type in the owner's information. Those days are gone. This system is fully automated. You just click the button and you send it on over to the owner. That's how simple it is. Can you imagine that? You send them a marketing letter and then you decide, you know what? I'm going to send the guy an offer. I'll just attach an offer right to that document and send it on over. See if he answers my call next time I call. Investor relations specialist, folks, this is good. We're going to roll this out next week. The whole purpose of the Multifamily OS is to create a whole community of like-minded multifamily investors who also have their own network of investors that they've been tapping on the shoulder. If we pool all of those things together, we can have an investor relations community of thousands. And when you get a deal, you're going to be able to post your deal on the MFOS site. Other members can talk about it. Other members can partner with you. Other members can invest money with you. And then we will hold webinars where we're out there raising private money on your behalf through this system. It's called the Capital Club. That's going to be rolled out in our next call next week. So make sure that you attend. And the thing is that you have to be in the paid version, the $297 or higher, for 6 months before you can access the Capital in the Capital Club. And the reason for that is we don't want people just jumping into the program to get access to everyone's investor database. We want everybody. We want people in the group who've been working with other members, because we really want to create a cohort of people, a club. When you buy into a particular property, you're buying into a club. So these are all the things that happen. So make sure you go ahead and just sign on up, get access, click the buttons down here, and that is really what all you need to do. It is absolutely phenomenal. So let me jump on over here. Oh, it's telling me that. Let's see. I don't want to see this. Remove. Yes. Oh, cancel that. All right, here we go. All right, let me just come through some of these. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and type them in, and I will. Oh, good. We got people all over Columbus, Ohio. Win. Good to see my buddy Buck. Stay within 30-minute rule. Yeah, Ed says, if you live in a metro area, try to stay within 30-minute rule or have a partner in that area. And let me tell you something. Ed and I talk virtually every morning, and he lives by this rule. And some of the properties that he's brought into the mix that we've all taken a look at, he always tells us, the reason why I'm looking at this is because it may not be within the 30 miles, but I have somebody in there that can do it. So he absolutely lives what he preaches. Is each buy box specific to a market? Okay, Paul. So do you mean like the ones that we just put in there? Because you can create it as a. I think I understand what you're asking. So it is based upon a geographical market. If you meant is the buy box, like for instance, can we create a buy box for just motivated sellers, sellers that are just interested in sellers that are absentee owners that have owned the property for more than 10 years? Can we create a buy box regardless of the geographical market? I think we can. I have never tried, but let me just see what would happen. And I'll tell you something. I am violating the rule of every lawyer. You have to know the answer before you before you do it. Okay. All right. So hold on a second. I'm going to share my screen because I think that was such an interesting question. Let me just share my screen here and show you what I just did. All right. Let me see. That's not what I wanted. I want to hold on. Click on this. Share screen. Go up here. Okay. Watch what I just did. So Paul, to answer your question, look what I did is I did not put in any geographical location. All I did was click motivated sellers. That's it. Well, that's not the one. Watch, I'll click motivated sellers. Watch what happens. 1.9 million properties all over the country. So to answer your question, Paul, yes, you can do it based upon your criteria and not your geography. Hopefully that answers. I never got a call back from you a couple of weeks. You said you would call back about the Atlanta deal with a 2.5 assumable, 3.5 only 2.5 assume. This week I was notified that big LLC is now included in best and final. Regards, need a big money whale. Well, Win, I never got a text. I never heard from you, Win. What is, hold on a second. Let me do this just to show you how transparent I am. Let's come over here to 614-961. Look at that. I typed in your phone number, no results. 614-96, no results. You never called me. All right, let's see. Charlie, you're freezing internet. Sorry about that. Facebook, okay. All right, it sounds like I got a message that I wasn't working in Facebook all that well. Hi there, Buck Lawrence. Charles information outstanding. Hi there, Buck Lawrence. Charles information. I am in Columbus, Ohio, and nationwide. We can collaborate. Awesome. This is what I love. I love it when people come together and they all work together. This is how you're going to get deals accomplished, folks. This is what my program is all about. I want people collaborating. I want people working in cohorts. But geez, Win, you got to be careful about that Buck Lawrence. I'll tell you that right now. I'm kidding. I love the man. Own what you do. Yeah. If you're an off-market, okay, so here we go. Ken Edmonds. I have cash buyers that must buy during last quarter, 100 plus. All right, Ken. Excellent. Bring them on in. Let me see. Both sides of commission. Yep. 17. That exactly, Ken. But it's true. The guy said it was 1,700 requests, and they usually get about 20 phone calls after they've given them the information, and only 3 to 5 offers would be made out of that 1,700 tire kickers. And that's the part that you're up against. That's who you're competing against. All right, let me see. Rocky. Sounds like the comment I face graduated degrees in networking. Yeah. Okay. Now facing that sort of competition in astronomy. I don't know. I don't even know what astronomy is. Can you enlarge the screen? I can't, Paul. That's like what it is. But Paul, listen, go sign on up and play around with Multifamily OS. I've set it up so that you don't have to put your credit card in. You're going to have to if you really are in this business. $297 a month to get a tool like this is an absolute steal. Paul, try the square. Okay, good. Thanks, Buck. I appreciate. See, Buck's a good guy. I don't appreciate you people talking bad about my Buck. Can you edit the emails? Okay, Paul. Yes, when I had that email up there, you can edit it any way you want. We're also going to have a blank email so that you can just hit the thing and it automatically pops up with the owner's email information in there and that subject line about the property, and then you can do a free form email to the owner. So that's in the works as well. We want to make sure that is available because maybe you don't want to send them that type of, or you just hit the button, creates that email. You just copy and delete it all and go ahead and type whatever you want. How many buy boxes can you set up? 5. Right now, we just have 5. And I think that's the right number. Go ahead and find out how well you do with the 5 and see how it works out. You edit them in your own email to which MFO has sent the tape. Exactly. Thank you, Buck. Thank you. What is the link to sign up for one of the programs? Ken, Multifamily OS, and maybe Molly can just go ahead and put that in the banner, I think. Multifamilyos.ai. Go ahead and sign on up and put in your email and you're in. All right. Let's see. That's cool if we can. It is cool, Paul, and you can. All right. Buck, Kenneth, go into the pro. Yeah. Buck's my top sales guy here. Pricing icon is an upright get access button will get you in. Yeah. And let me show you one other thing before we go. Thank you, Ken. All right, cool. Awesome. Let me show you one more thing before we go. I really want you guys to see this just because we've really mapped it out. I tell you, the folks on my team are top flight, absolutely the best. When you come on board and you're brand new, this onboarding and resources screen is going to be the first thing you see. If you've already got an account and you log back in, you just have to go to the dashboard and click on this. And what we do here is take you through 7 lessons, okay? And once you get these lessons going, it will help you and show you exactly how to do each one of the steps and everything you're going to need to do. I'm like, the first thing you're going to do is come over here to account and go in there and click on profile and fill in all the blanks and put in your company logo. And remember that email that I sent had my email and my phone number in it. And the reason why it did is because I filled in the account profile. And that's how that all works. See that? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So, all right, folks, that is it. Let me just check. Let me see. Paul. Okay, Ken. Replay available so we can take better notes. No, Ken. You'll have to come back next week and practice your note taking until next week. Absolutely. This is actually going to live on YouTube. You'll be able to come back and find these. If you remember at the beginning of the PowerPoint, we have that bright graphic with the guy like looking around. We're going to use those on these lessons in YouTube so you can see them very quickly and you can go right to them. Let's see. I'm not sure why my cell did not accept your call. I'm listening to the webinar on bot, the cell phone, and on desktop. FBI, my tired eyes. All right, cool. Win. Hey, listen. Send me a text. Why don't you text me? Text me your number. I'll call you right back if I can. Let's see. Does that mean you will start talking good about me? Folks, my clients become my friends. Frank, Brendan, Buck, Ed Lowry. That's the way I run my business. And that's just the way I don't want to, I'm a lawyer. I deal in conflict most of the time. This business, I absolutely love the multifamily business, and I love multifamily investors, and they become my friends. My very first client 20 years ago is probably still in my phone. And if you call me today, I'd pick up the phone and start talking to him like we're old buddies. That's how I operate. So yes, Buck. And that's my point being, I love Buck. He's a blast. Buck and I talk every morning at 8:30, and we always rib each other. Does a plus offer skip tracing at a cost? No, Paul. You got to be in the pro to get the skip tracing, and the skip tracing is automatic. It's the coolest feature I've ever seen. Please ask Molly to call me ASAP. Well, when it's Saturday morning, give the young lady a break. She, have her work on Monday morning for you. Great presentation. Thanks, Ken. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. It really does. I'll certainly text you, Charles. What is the number? I'll tell you. Molly, go ahead and share my number with Win. The website says that skip tracing is part of the plus. Oh, okay. Maybe it is, Buck. I apologize. Thank you. Because it changes so fast. All right, Charles. Charles, great work. I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Oh, hey, I have lots of experience with RIOs from banks, specializing in syndication, private. Awesome. Can we help you make more money, help generate over 3 million? Yeah, sure. Legal fees for client. Absolutely. And hey, John, I don't know if you know this, but you're pretty soon you're going to be a U.S. citizen. And we're all very happy about that for you, because out of all the provinces in Canada, we like yours the best. Watch, I know that Ed Lowry and Buck are rolling their eyes right now because I just said that. But by the way, that bot was supposed to be both. I was wondering what you were talking about. Okay. Have a great day. Thanks, Paul. Awesome. Great to have you guys. I will see you next week, where I'm going to show you how you can raise private money in the Multifamily OS tool. What more do you need? It's this thing is the best thing ever. All right. Great to see everybody. Thank you for coming out. And I will be saying goodbye right now.